We're here to talk about an unusual issue. Let me read to you. So my team are a little younger than me, and when we chat through Slack, they often use memes instead of writing out what they mean. Now, I have two main concerns here. Firstly, am I going to look like I'm trying too hard if I start using these memes too? There's no idea of the age difference here, but they have brought up the age difference, which sounds like they're not the same age. And secondly, what if I use the wrong one, or worse, one that is totally offensive? Also, I want everyone to enjoy work and have fun, but I do worry that our work chats are becoming a bit like a friends WhatsApp group, and that it might encourage people to be less than professional, especially when talking to clients. So the question is, how do I encourage fun in the workplace where we can use memes without it getting out of hand?
There's a few different things going on here. I think, first of all, if you don't know what it means, or unless you're confident you know what it means and you've asked somebody younger what it means, don't use it. I blew my mind. You know, the praying emoji.
I thought that was thank you, but go on.
Or the thank you emoji, yeah. And I think if you search for it, it says pray, but it's like the thank you emoji. Yeah, you use the thank you. It's not that. It's two people giving a high five.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I think it's now culturally been used for that, but that's what it was initially intended, was a high five. So yeah, it's a difficult landscape if you don't understand it. So I would avoid that entirely. I wouldn't be too worried about the Slack chat getting too friendly or too jokey, or as long as nobody's being rude or offensive, because that's what we want. We want people to build these personal relationships, these friendships. I'm sure you've seen loads of stuff on LinkedIn or in the media about, you know, if you've got a work bestie, then you're much more likely to be engaged in your work. So I wouldn't discourage that too much. Of course, there needs to be boundaries in terms of professionalism. And the best way to do that really is to decide that as a group, using something called a team charter. So that's really just having a session where you're like, what do we want our team to represent? Who do we want to be? These are our company values. How do they reflect us as a team? What does that mean in terms of how we communicate? What does that mean in terms of how we communicate with clients? I mean, the other thing as well, because young people are very, I think, aware and mindful of the different demographics and ways of thinking we have in our workforces. Sometimes it's just a bit of awareness that actually using these emojis can potentially be ageist, because I don't always know what those mean. Or it could be that's really difficult for somebody who is autistic or neurodiverse, because they look at things in a different way in terms of facial expressions or emotions. So I think actually the younger people will probably respond quite well to these types of conversations and discussions, as long as it's a discussion and not a, you can't do this because it's ageist. Then I think young people will respond really well, and then create that team charter. What are the rules essentially that govern how that team operates, making sure then that you reinforce those rules and those desired behaviors through praise, through recognition, and the opposite of that when someone does something that is out of sync with the team charter. I think that's the best way to do it, and I think getting this consensus will be really helpful. And it sounds as well that people are on a good, friendly terms anyway, so this type of conversation will probably be really fruitful and really interesting. But yeah, that would be my advice. Don't use the emojis yourself unless you know what they mean. Don't worry too much about people being friendly. That's actually the types of relationships we want to foster in our organization. And if you want to set those boundaries, a co-developed team charter is a really useful way of doing that.
Great answer. I would add just a couple of little things. First of all, if you want to basically understand, just in case you don't know what a meme is, it's spelled M-E-M-E. It's not meme, as someone once said to us. Meme is basically little sort of GIFs, little sort of animated things, usually about a second long. If you want to basically get 80% ahead, go and watch the US Office, because the majority of memes around the workplace are going to be from the US office. But I would also make it my kind of a two-way fun thing. So I might have a meme quiz that the team has a quiz and they give it to me and I have to guess what the meme means. And then I give them a quiz and I say, which ones of these do you think is appropriate for the workplace? And that way you make it a bit fun because it's a quiz. And then you're also, you're learning, but then you're also, this whole idea of the charter that Leanne was talking about, you're also learning what's appropriate for the team and obviously for clients. I think my advice would be not to use them at all with clients unless they use it first.